limited concept of success. I was thinking about the idea of, say, putting a baby to sleep, right? So, would you say that if your baby is crying and you calm your baby down and your baby doesn't go to sleep, that's unsuccessful? I mean, to a certain extent, you can say that, right? But I think most people would say, well, if your baby's crying furiously and you calm them down and they cry more occasionally and not as fiercely, then that's success, right? An improvement. If you look at sports, is an athlete going to say, yeah, I won the race, but I didn't beat the world record, thus I'm a failure? I mean, they may think they still have places to go, room to improve, but they wouldn't say it's a failure, right? They're still successful. They won the race, right? Most people would say they're successful. I think that's where it comes in, this whole idea of success. How do you define it, right? Does it have to mean you have to achieve your goal, or is an improvement good enough? Is an improvement meaningful? And the reason I bring that up is because of the idea of steps. Many people think you have to achieve something right away. The baby has to be calm right away. But as those of you who are parents know, it doesn't really happen that way. You may not get the baby to do what you want to do right away. It's a process that takes time, right? If I want my daughter to let me brush her teeth, she may cry, scream, kick initially, but if I persist at it, keep on going, maybe after a week, a few weeks, she'll let me do it. That's called success. It's not right away. It's not immediate. And the thing we know with raising kids is it's not immediate gratification. And I think we need to translate that to regular, ordinary life, right? I guess dealing with adults, we feel adults should do stuff right away, but oftentimes we know that's not true. Have you ever interacted with the government? Well, as long as you're making progress, that's good. They're not going to fix your problem right away. But if you get somewhere, that's success, right? It brings me back to this game we played a lot in college called Taboo. It's a game where you have a word on a card in front of you and to get people to guess the word. There's other words associated with that you can't say. For example, they might be trying to make you guess McDonald's. And it says you can't say things like Big Mac, Golden Arches, blah, 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 right? Happy Meal. So you have to use other words to get people there. And remember, some people were being really good at it versus people who are not good at it. People who aren't good at it say, okay, let me think. McDonald's, what? Classic. Okay. Pulp Fiction. You're like, what? You're like, what they ate? You're like, I think they ate a lot of stuff, right? And then they don't get it. Okay, let me switch. 29 cents. You're like, okay, 29 cents what? You're like, that thing that you eat. Like, no, what they eat. There's a sale, remember? So people just try to do it with one shot. And if they can't get it with a one shot, then they switch to another method. The people who are better at it, if it's too hard, they don't do it that method. They go slowly. They go by a step, right? They first of all try to get you to guess a hamburger. And then after that, then they try to move towards a hamburger that's McDonald's hamburger, etc., right? So they move in multiple steps. And they're better. People guess more. Even though it seems like it could be slower because you're not direct, but you're successful more often and thus you're better. I think that's the biggest takeaway message I have from this concept of going steps. Success is a long-term thing. For the vast majority of cases, you don't achieve it in one step. So you have to plan for multiple steps. If you're improving, then you're successful. You're near. You're getting closer there. Just like the baby. She stops crying. That's success. Is silent. That's success. Finally fall asleep. It takes a while. But if you expect her to fall asleep and tell her to go to sleep, and it doesn't happen right away and give up, then you're just not going to be successful. And if you can't do that, then I'm afraid to think of what you can do the rest of your life.